Namaste, namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Guru Shimuji Ji ki Jai. So we start chapter 3 today. The chapter is called Test of Self-Realization. I've been talking about a test. Test of self-realization. So what happened so far? The story so far is that Janaka asked Ashtavakra for help to discover himself, to find the self. And then Ashtavakra spoke for the first chapter, and then and started speaking from that discovery, from the self, as the self. Beautiful second chapter was all about Janaka sharing his discovery. And typically what a master will do is not just take your initial word for it, because they know, the masters know that quickly the spiritual ego can come after that. So they keep poking you a bit, prodding you a bit. So the test of self-realization is Ashtavakra saying, having realized yourself as one, being serene and indestructible, why do you desire wealth?
It's a marks card, no?
So he said, having realized yourself as one, being serene and indestructible, why do you desire wealth? Now, Janaka didn't say he desired wealth, but the question came because Janaka was the king. So Ashtavakra is prodding to see if there's some attachment still that remains to the wealth of the kingdom. Just as imagining silver in mother of pearl causes greed to arise, so does ignorance of self cause desire for illusion. So we've discussed all this in great detail in the past, so I won't elaborate much. If you have a question, you can stop me and we can look at that. Just as imagining silver in mother of pearl causes greed to arise, so does ignorance of self cause desire for illusion. Having realized yourself as that, in which the waves of the world rise and fall, why do you run around in turmoil? Having realized yourself as that, in which the waves of the world rise and fall, why do you run around in turmoil? Having realized yourself as pure awareness, as beautiful beyond description, how can you remain a slave to lust? Having realized yourself as pure awareness, as beautiful beyond description, how can you remain a slave to lust? You see, the key point there is a slave to lust. I'm not saying that lust should not arise. I'm saying don't be a slave to it. It is strange that in a sage who has realized self in all and all in self, the sense of ownership should continue. You see? So Ashtavakra is really poking with all different ways. So he's talked about wealth, desire for illusion, running around in turmoil. It's all about doership, or kingly duties, remaining a slave to lust, And the sense of ownership, the sense that something belongs to me or something is mine. You see, me and mine is attachment that we've often spoken about. Strange that one abiding in the absolute, intent on freedom, should be vulnerable to lust and weakened by amorous pastimes. Strange that one abiding in the absolute, intent on freedom, should be vulnerable to lust and weakened by amorous pastimes. Strange that as the enemy of knowledge, one so weak and nearing death should still crave sensual pleasure. Strange that knowing lust as an enemy of knowledge, one so weak and nearing death should still crave sensual pleasure. Strange that one who is unattached to the things of this world and the next, who can discriminate between the transient and the timeless, who yearns for freedom, should yet fear the dissolution of the body. So everything, now death spoken. Strange that one who is unattached to the things of this world and the next, who can discriminate between the transient and the timeless, who yearns for freedom, should yet fear the dissolution of the body. Now, this is not something which is rare. This fear of death, even for those who have been in satsang, who see themselves beyond this worldly play, this fear can be such a strong condition. See? So this fear can be such a strong condition. I saw coincidentally that Olga was also here today. So she is one of those who told me that this fear of death is a very strong feeling, the sense of death. You see? She said once to me that at least if I know I'm the self, at least I know it continues. So there is no end. You see? But even this cannot be used as a crutch in that way, you see. Of course, you're discovering yourself to be that which is beyond time and space, but you're also finding yourself to be that which is prior to all attributes. Is that one concerned about even life? Is the play of existence really something which makes a real difference to the self? Finding the self, you see yourself to be beyond life and death, beyond birth and death. You are the unborn, the undying. It is this, many times it is a manifestation of this fear, which comes, which can seem to be an obstacle to our remaining empty of concepts. Many of you feel like this. You might not put it in this way, you might not express it in this way, but when you don't have a concept about yourself, you can feel something very shaky, as if you're dying. And the mind will immediately come and say, no, 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 don't go there. That is trouble. Is it? And the master is saying, no, no, stay there and see if that is really trouble. Stay here and see if that is really trouble, or Is it just the mind saying it is trouble? What is that primal drive to pick up a belief about ourselves, to make a position about yourself? This, it is an escape from this fear of dissolution. And many have actually come to this point and in the play returned. In the play returned when they find that it is relentless, are looking for the self and staying here. And they find that really there is no room for belief in your personal identity. When you discover that nothing that you're finding here is making a spiritual person or an enlightened person out of you, you are asked to let go of all the concepts. You're not becoming a good person. You're not becoming, definitely not becoming a better person. Okay, in the play, okay. Don't pick up the opposite idea. Okay, they're saying that this is not personal. Beyond this we go. Beyond birth and death. As you allow yourself to remain empty right now, notice the mind's offers for you to take a particular position. The position is based on past, position is based on future, the position is based on wanting something, position is based on doing something. The position is based on some sensation that you might be experiencing. What is the door for this me? Naturally, right now, there is no such me. You can really slow it down. Prior to the concept about yourself, what is it that you are? So what is happening now? What is happening now is that you are coming to the recognition of yourself. How are you coming to the recognition of yourself? You're using the three clues. You're finding out what is it that witnesses all phenomena. What witnesses every phenomenal movement, everything with any attribute, any quality. Including that which witnesses the sense of space. So the sage has said, the witness of all the elements and the space in which the elements are included. So this is the first clue. This witness. What is the second clue? We are finding that which is unchanging, has no past or future. And third clue is that it has to be your direct insight, although unlike most other experiences, you will not be able to call this a phenomenal experience. So in a way we can say it is your only non-phenomenal experience. As you are coming to this recognition of the self, you will find that to believe the story of the mind, which is the opposite of your own insight, which is saying that you are a phenomenal object, you are full of change, and you are perceived through the power of perception, just like any other object. This is what the mind is saying. Every time it gives you the story of your limited objective existence. Which is actually contrary to your own insight about yourself. That is why you will find that it becomes more and more difficult to believe what the mind is saying. What the mind is saying becomes more and more laughable, unrelatable. And as it becomes more and laughable, then you find you have more and more space for this recognition. See? That's why I call this the virtuous cycle. The recognition aids the dropping of the conditioning, the disbelief in the mind, and the disbelief in the mind aids the recognition. That's how the play operates. Notice how much allegiance we've had to this mind. Even now, many times, even when we are in satsang, we are believing mental conclusions about even the words of satsang. Notice the various poses of this mind. And it poses as a judge, saying, yes, yes, this is right, this is right. No, no, this I don't do like that. It's like a judge sitting over there, confirming or denying what it is hearing, even in satsang. Then sometimes it becomes like a judge. Sometimes it poses as if it is the frustrated one. I don't think I'm really getting any of this. You see? This is beyond me. I'm so tired of spirituality and the search for freedom. It's pointless, it's meaningless, not getting anywhere. You see, this kind of pose. Then sometimes when the recognition happens so beautifully, it also comes in that enlightened pose. I got it. I am that. All these various masks of the mind. You see? Auditioning for your attention, as Guruji says. Just coming up with all these poses to audition for you. Which mask are you going to pick up now? You'll be empty of these masks. So what a master is doing actually is unmasking you. Something is feeling drawn towards the master, and yet the master doesn't want to meet you through the obstacle, through the prism of this mask. So he's saying, throw this away so we can meet as one. Throw this away so we meet as one. So if the words like position or reference can seem confusing, know that I'm speaking about this mask. What is this persona, pose, facade that we are presuming about ourselves because the mind is selling us a story. Why would we believe something which is contrary to our own insight? Am I saying just because I'm saying it you believe it? No. I'm saying you find, using these three clues, you find out what you are. And you stay with that insight, what your discovery is, irrespective of what the mind is saying for some time. And don't be so quick to say, I didn't get it, or I'm not able to get it, or I got it. Neither of these conclusions is valid, because even that can become a pose, even that can become a mask. Remain in this empty, maskless nakedness, in spite of all the mental attacks, all the feelings of shame or guilt. This wobbliness will not last. Don't be fearful of it. I have crossed this river of wobbliness, so I can also tell you that it doesn't last. It's like somebody standing on the shore saying, come, come, cross, nothing will happen, just come. You have nothing to be afraid of. You will not die. In fact, you will discover your deathless reality just by following these small, simple pointers. All it needs is a little bit of openness, dropping the arrogance of your prior knowledge, coming to the innocence of a child, come to the discovery of your self. This is what Jesus meant when he said, only the babes will enter the kingdom of heaven. We are becoming babies now because life is playing that way. What does it mean to run out of moves? It only means is we don't know where to go, what to do. All our concepts are not helping us. There's a deeper longing now to come home, to that home which we never really left, but we just dreamt that we are far from it. Whether acclaimed or tormented, the serene sage abides in the self. He is neither gratified nor angered. A great soul. And notice again that although the words might sound like it, but it does not imply that gratitude or anger cannot come. It only implies that even these are seen as aspects of your phenomenal manifestation. There is no resistance to this. But we are not saying that I am angry or I am lustful. A great soul witnesses his body's actions as if they were another's. How can praise or blame disturb him? So we've spoken about doership. Realizing the universe is illusion, having lost all curiosity, how can one of steady mind fear death? The whatever candy this phenomenal realm has to offer, even that pales in comparison to your non-phenomenal discovery. How can that be? See, the mind cannot understand this. In many times in satsang, we just hear that, yes, yes, I found the self, but is that it? But it's so boring. There's nothing happening there. You see? So, this is when the recognition has been given too quickly to the mind to interpret. Whereas in reality, what is our experience? We see that any form of sensory pleasure, any form of perception, we tire of very quickly. Consciousness doesn't want to deal with it for too long. It doesn't want to have the best things. I've spoken like this. I've talked about the best music or the best taste, the best whatever. If it was constantly only that, you will say, no, I want the contrast. So it cannot be that the discovery of the self will have a particular quality or a taste, because even that consciousness will tire of. Consciousness is made up of all the opposites. So if it is only playing as one aspect of the opposites, then it will want to include the other aspect also. So that is the play of consciousness. In this realm of duality, it plays as every aspect. It doesn't want just one side of the spectrum. It is only the mind which is saying, no, no, only this should be there. Only this should be there. This should be there. So then, what is happening now? As you are coming to the discovery of the self, then you might struggle to use words like it is so pure, it is so innocent. Actually, none of these also apply. It is empty even of these attributes, beyond purity, beyond innocence. You're coming to the discovery of this quality-less self. And yet it is not empty like a empty glass. It's not empty in the way of an empty room, like it's so boring, there's nothing there. You see, not that. It is full of the non-phenomenal. Can we say like that? It is full of the non-phenomenal. That fullness from which all other things arise, all phenomena arises. Even consciousness arises from that. See? So don't fall into that notion that the emptiness that we speak of is that kind of emptiness which is just so devoid. It is the void, but it is not devoid of anything. It is not phenomenal, yet it is a complete taste of fullness. If the sages made this discovery that I found the self and it is just like walking into an empty room, why would they want everyone to join them in this empty room? So it's not that kind of emptiness. It is not a empty coconut. It is that which is the source of all things, including intelligence. Supreme intelligence also arises from that. With whom can we compare the great soul who, who content, knowing self, remains desireless in disappointment? Why should a person of steady mind who sees the nothingness of objects prefer one thing to another? He who is unattached, untouched by opposites, free of desire, experiences neither pleasure nor pain as events pass through. Okay. This also has some capacity for misunderstanding. Pleasure and pain will be experienced, but he will not say, I am the experiencer as an individual entity. There is no sufferer, there is no enjoyer, as if it is something limited. It is all happening in the space of your existence. This much all of you will be able to testify, whether it's your first satsang or you've been here for years, that without your existence, there can be no experience. So this, your existence is a substratum for all experience. Even though it might not yet be your insight, that all of this is happening in the space of my being, in the space of my existence. That really doesn't matter at this point. Know that you are that in the presence of which all experiencing can happen. That much is enough for now. But in the presence of which experiencing is happening is not affected by whether the experience is that of pleasure or that of pain. The body might still be going, ouch, ouch. See, don't expect that this is going to make you into the man of steel, Superman or something. You see? Hear the Ashtavakra and then the body will be leaping over buildings, and even if you're cut by knives or fired at by bullets, it's not about the body. You find yourself to be beyond this. You come to the discovery that Shivoham, which cannot be cut, it cannot be burned. In that way. And know that the vibrancy of experience will continue. Both pleasure and pain, the spectrum will be felt. But you will not amplify the seeming suffering because of your mental conceptualization. Like a child. The most beautiful thing, isn't it, with children? And they're in pain, they cry. Next moment they forget about it and start laughing. See? And then pain comes again, they start crying. It's very, very natural. They're not holding on to grievances and resentment and pride. Got disconnected for some reason. Okay, so just want to read a few more verses, which is Janaka's response. So chapter 3 was that. Now we start chapter 4. Audio is fine. So chapter 4 is the glorification of self-realization. So this is the response from Janaka. So Janaka said, surely one who knows self, though he plays the game of life, differs greatly from the world's bewildered, burdened beasts. Surely one who knows self, though he plays the game of life, differs greatly from the world's bewildered, burdened beasts. So he's trying to explain now because Ashtavakra poked him with all the possible identity of money and work and kingdom and all of these things. So he's trying to explain, he's trying to respond to him, sharing that he who knows the self, though he plays the game of life, there's a fundamental difference that happened. You see? Not in actuality, but even in the play, there's a difference between the sage and that expression of consciousness, which is still pretending to be a limited entity, a person. You see, so he's comparing a sage, the liberated one, to most of humanity, which seems to be running about like bewildered, burdened beasts. So that which burdens us, which bewilders us, which makes beasts out of us, all of that is this sense of individuality, the sense of identity. Truly, the yogi feels no elation, though he abides in the exalted state, yearned for by Indra and all the discontented gods. Now, don't worry too much about what I'm going to say, especially if you can't relate to it. I just want to say that in this appearance, it is possible for anything to appear. You see, you might, in the next moment, find yourself living in a realm which is completely unidentifiable with this one. You see, you might be appearing as if one of the gods, like Indra, as he's talking about. You see, anything, anything might appear. You see, but that which is being spoken about here in the scripture is beyond any realm and any experience. So it doesn't matter what, whether you're a king or whether you're a god or whether you're whatever it might be. Okay? So this is beyond the realm of appearances. Whatever, no matter how sublime or terrible that experience might be. So this is all that he's trying to say. You have to go. Have you booked your cab? Surely, one who knows that, with a capital T, is not touched by virtue or vice, just as space is not touched by smoke, though it seems to be. Who can prevent the great soul who knows the universe as self from living life as it comes? So this is a great clue, because don't expect that something should change in the events of life because of the discovery that you are making. life can continue to be as it likes. There's a famous Zen saying, isn't there? Before enlightenment, chopping wood, fetching water. After enlightenment, chopping wood, fetching water. But I like to add two words to that, which is or not. Even that can seem to become like a position, that it has to be that way. So many can say, see now, before something happened to this one, he had a job, he had work, he had these things. Now after that, he just left all of that. Therefore, he cannot be enlightened by Zen standards. Is it? So it is not, what they're saying is that it is completely possible for the same seemingly regular day-to-day life to continue, and it is completely possible that it doesn't actually. Anything can happen. This is important because many times this can become a condition or position that, okay, so then now what? I found this witness. I found that it has no attributes. I found that it is unchanging. So now what is supposed to happen to me? Where is my halo and where are my followers? Where is my satsang program?
That's the only career path, right?
Huh? That's the only career. He says that's the only career path, right? Actually, I was saying yesterday that many who come to this discovery go on with their regular life with never really outwardly sharing satsang in this way. But of course, their presence blesses everyone around them. So it is not necessary for it to play a certain way. It's a beautiful story because it's so relatable. Once someone who was in the Sangha, he was sitting with Guruji in Satsang, and he sat there and he felt like that day he was really just, it was so clear. Like Guruji's pointing was getting through, it was just becoming so apparent. Okay, this is not one of those stories where I say, oh, a friend, this happened to a friend, but it actually happened to me. It's not like that. So actually a friend, he was sitting and he just felt so clear, so clear. And he felt that it was done. What had to be done is done. Hmm? So then what happened is that he's starting to wonder, so now what's going to happen? Yeah, satsang is getting over. He's starting to wonder, is it visible? Can people tell? Is there some radiance? Is it something can be seen? You know this story actually. So then he gets outside the satsang hall, so Swami Satyananda Ashram, for those of you who know in Rishikesh. So he comes out and he sees this Western lady coming to him with great intent. Huh? She's coming to him with great intent. So he's wondering to himself, has it started now? Can she see it? Can she see it? You see, what am I going to say? I'm exaggerating, but not too much. So like that, this feeling came. And then she came to him and said, are you the auto rickshaw guy? And he says, in that moment, all of this like expectation of what should happen outwardly just fell away. It doesn't have to. There's a reason I don't take the name, so it's not helpful when you say it out loud. It's a beautiful story because it shows us that even in the light of clear insight and recognition, the mind can come and play with some expectation. So what does this mean? Is it visible now? I wonder how my life will be now. Where are my devotees? So, what did he say? Who can prevent the great soul who knows the universe as self from living life as it comes. Of the four kinds of beings, from Brahma to a blade of grass, only the sage can renounce aversion and desire. That's what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter what form is appearing in life, what form you have, but only those who have seen beyond this phenomenal play can truly see that they are beyond this. Rare is he who knows himself as one with no other. Rare is he who knows himself as one with no other, the Lord of the universe. He acts as he knows and is never afraid. Rare is he who knows himself as one with no other, the Lord of the universe. He acts as he acts as he knows and is never afraid. Guruji says something very beautifully. He says, it doesn't matter, you see, whether, or let's put it on the, once you discover that this world is a dream, or if you discover that this world is a dream, it doesn't give any advantage to the dream character. See? There is no phenomenal benefits, at least outwardly, to this discovery. So don't expect anything out of this. See? Because anything that you expect can become a benchmark, like an expectation, that only once I'm no longer angry, only once I experience only bliss, only once, whatever the only once might be, that becomes a condition. See? And what are we doing? We are dropping all conditioning, even including the spiritual one. The movie is best enjoyed when you know nothing about the next scene. Okay, quickly, let's see if we can do chapter 5. I know we're doing it very differently from how we've done the last few times. The last few times we've looked at almost every word, but this time it's just coming up this way. But just stop me if you're confused by anything. And also the transcripts of the previous ones are available. And in a few months or in a few weeks, it will be available as a book also. So it's possible for you to refer to what was done, how it was done previously. So in chapter 5 is 4 ways to dissolution. This is very, very beautiful actually. 4 ways to dissolution. Where Ashtavakra says, so this chapter is just 4 verses. Okay, and each verse is a great clue. Is a great clue. So use it like that. Take one, actually take any one of them, whichever appeals to you after hearing them, and just marinate in that, contemplate that one. So first he says, you are immaculate, touched by nothing. What is there to renounce? The mind is complex. Let it go. Know the peace of dissolution. You are immaculate, touched by nothing. What is there to renounce? The mind is complex. Let it go. Know the peace of dissolution. 2. The universe arises from you like foam from the sea. Know yourself as one. Enter the peace of dissolution. The universe arises from you like foam from the sea. Know yourself as one. Enter the peace of dissolution. And for this one, all that you've heard so far in Satsang will also help. You see? That actually you're just seeing one appearance, which is happening as one play, but we are breaking it up into many, using the mind, using concepts. And you see that it is one appearance within yourself. Where is the experience of sound? Where is the experience of taste? Where is the experience of sight? Where is the experience of touch? All of this is happening within you. What is that you, where this universe is experienced? Is there anything outside of you from your experience? So let me repeat the verse. The universe arises from you like foam from the sea. Know yourself as one. Enter the peace of dissolution. Third verse. Like an imagined snake in a rope, the universe appears to exist in the immaculate self, but does not. Seeing this, you know there is nothing to dissolve. Like an imagined snake in a rope, the universe appears to exist in the immaculate self, but does not. Seeing this, you know there is nothing to dissolve. So, we talked about in the past, we talked about the two A's. That which is the primal witness, this self is the capital A of awareness. That which itself is not the small a of appearance. You see? So, in relation to reality, which is unchanging, this capital A, there appears this realm of appearances. So, in that way, it is unreal because it is not unchanging, it is not constant. So, the third way is to look at the world as an appearance and to stay with that which is not an appearance. Ask yourself, am I an appearance? So you can use this kind of contemplation. Fourth, you are perfect, changeless, through misery and happiness, hope and despair, life and death. This is the state of dissolution. You are perfect, changeless, through misery and happiness, hope and despair, life and death. This is the state of dissolution. Now, many times what can happen is that as we are contemplating this, we are not able to relate to ourselves as perfect and changeless. But in our life, we are blessed with the holy presence of the Sadguru, which is perfect and changeless. So this is another way of saying what one of my favorite pointers, which is to stay at my master's feet, or keep your eyes at my master's feet. If you can find your own presence in this way, that which is perfect and changeless, beautiful, because this is the external embodiment of the master is just in service to this divine presence. But if that seems confusing, we are blessed to have the presence of the master and we can stay with that. So this is another way of saying surrender. So the sage said, you are perfect, changeless, through misery and happiness, hope and despair, life. Everything is the master's problem. Whatever events might come, you surrender. Just let it come and go. And if it feels like it cannot be let go of, just say it is God's problem, or it is Guru's problem, or it is Father's problem, whatever terminology you want to use. Don't pick up anything as your condition. Don't pick up elation or misery as your condition. Remain as this surrendered one who is saying, you are the one doer, you are the one experiencer, my Lord, or my Father, my Sadguru. I feel like in the last 2 weeks we've provided so many tips and pointers and clues to this. The sage said the mind is complex. Let it go. So to let go of this complexity, now you have got enough tips, tricks, using the words of Ashtavakra and Janaka. We've got some very clear insight into what it is, what the discovery is like, what is the outcome of this discovery, what life becomes like if this discovery happens. Is it possible for everyone to see this clearly or not? All this has been answered. For some reason it's sounding like a closing session. I don't know why. Although we will continue next week. Something is feeling to say. But actually, even this much, what we heard over the last 2 weeks, is more than enough if digested properly. But one thing will change though next week is that there are many requests for sessions at the morning time also, morning India time, because that is convenient at some other time. So we will go back to oscillating or deciding the time on pretty much the previous day, 1 day's notice. So some scheduling changes will happen. But I also want to ensure that there's no clash with the retreat broadcast because some might be watching that also. So we'll take these things into consideration over the weekend, and then early next week we'll be back with the schedule. For Monday, we meet at 4:30 the same time. Then we see how it goes from there. Very good. Thank you, my child. Thank you so much. There's the baby. There's my grandson. No video. Sleeping ish. Okay. We won't disturb him. It's good. Okay, let's do some Ram chanting today before we end the week. Okay, before we start, actually, I want to say a few words about this. We are not necessarily invoking the physical or the uh, conceptual form of Ram from Indian spirituality. Not necessarily. Why I'm saying not necessarily means those who are devoted to that form are, of course. It's a very beautiful form to hold in your heart and invoke the divine presence. But we're using this beautiful mantra Ram just so that, and it has been known over centuries to have this vibrational power to ease the, ease the trouble of the mind, to bring us to a peace, to make the divine presence so apparent. And many great sages have spoken about this mantra. In fact, Papaji at one time, I remember seeing the Satsang where he said, if you say Ram with full devotion once in a day, it is more than enough. Your life is taken care of. He said, once in a day with full devotion, if you say Ram. He said, Papaji said like that. And also great sages like Baba Ramdas, some of you might have heard of him, Neem Karoli Baba. Their only thing, their only practice, Neem Karoli Baba, he said, only Ram, 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 and feed people. And feed people. So that's all they used to do. And feed people. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, many of you know of him from Guruji. Also, Ram Ram was the practice that he used to speak about. So it's a beautiful invocation of your own divine presence. And if you don't feel like you relate to the form of Ram as you might have seen in Hindu spirituality, then it is, don't worry about that. It's not about a particular form, although that particular form is also very dear to my heart. So it is not an aversion to form or anything like that. But I know that there can be some resistance about forms. So we're just using this activated mantra to allow our attention to immerse in the divine presence. Ram, 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 Ram. Allow yourself to experience your holy presence. If the chanting has its own momentum and it's continued, you can continue it internally. Okay, before we close, Cat says, what does J mean? Yes. J means glory to or praise to, like we might say, glory to Jesus, all praise to Mary, like that. So J. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Sri Muji Ji ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki
Jai.